HB 621, eliminating all squatters' rights.
Probably not going to like this, but then again, I don't really care. Just something to consider, that when you're dealing with something like right of adverse possession, that is like over 1,000-year-old law. That goes back to like the Norman Conquest, like 1066. Okay, so well, I guess not over 1,000, but like almost 1,000 years old. And that predates the Magna Carta, 1215. So when you start unilaterally eliminating laws like that, while I'm all about eliminating laws, there's usually a reason why something sticks around for 1,000 years. And it's usually something that keeps bankers in check. And I think that what may have happened here was they just removed the check. Keep in mind that how many of you out there are homeowners? The correct answer is pretty much zero. You don't own that house. The bank owns it. And if the bank doesn't own it, the government claims ownership to it. So, yeah, I'm always a little hesitant to want to celebrate getting rid of something, especially when you're in the middle of something that, like, oh my God, it's a crisis. Oh my God, it's a crisis. And we need to do something right now. We saw this with COVID, didn't we? What you guys wanted was the illegals deported. That because all this stuff started happening. I mean, correlation isn't causation. I get that, but there's definitely a strong correlation to the millions of unchecked illegals flooding into the country to prop up the dollar, and all the squatting that's starting to like become like almost a daily thing. Well, this is a problem, reaction, solution kind of thing, and you should be very cautious. But as with most Americans, what do? They run to government for the solution rather than say, hold on, stop. You know, what is it we actually have a problem with? You have a problem with all the fucking illegals. That's what you have a problem with. And since we can't get rid of the fucking illegals, we're just going to get rid of 1,000-year-old laws that do actually afford some protection. I think that some of you, this is going to come back to haunt you on this. Oh, I know it protects a bunch of landlord bros who agreed to indemnify banks from losses. That's part of their business model, and they agreed to all of that. But, you know, and of course it's like, well, but somebody went on vacation and then they came back and there were squatters. Like, yeah, in the old days, you know, you just dealt with it, you know. I can't say, like, that's how you dealt with that, because you had conscience on your side, right? Remember, there's two laws, physics and conscience, and if you've got a clean conscience, then you're fine. But the thing is that now you just removed something that was probably there for a good goddamn reason. In fact, so much so that the founders recognized that as well. Okay, so I mean, like, this is not something to be played with, and I would just urge caution. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm like, you know, like, no, you just want on the side of the squatters. No, I'm really not. I'm not on anybody's side on this. I am just watching this disaster unfold. And so but I do think this is going to come back to haunt quite a few of you out there. I think this is going to be used to end up taking a lot of property away from people, a lot of houses away from people who won't have any voice after that. And there won't be a court hearing. You'll have to prove, you know, you'll have to imagine going to court and trying to prove a bunch of negatives, right? And I think that's what's going to end up happening, is that a lot of people are going to end up hosed on this. 2 to 5 years from now, I think you're going to see some serious shit. That's how these things kind of go. Hey, I hope I'm wrong, but history suggests otherwise. And if you look at why, I understand it's being abused. I get that. I've overtalked this, but I understand that right of adverse possession is being abused, no question. But again, if you deported all the fucking illegals, a lot of this shit goes away. And of course, a lot of property prices come down, rental prices come down, all that shit. And then a lot of this stuff just isn't an issue. But we don't want to do that yet. We're still, you know, opting for oblivion at the time being.